Welcome back, Quick Focuser. I want to congratulate you because you made it to day 2. You did it. We are starting a pattern here. This is our second step together. And I'm really excited to be on this journey with you because I think if there's one superpower to master, to be able to reveal, to be able to unleash, to be able to discover, to be able to develop, it's your ability to pay attention. It's your ability to focus on something until you get it done. Whether it's to learn faster, whether it's to go through your to-do list, whether it's to have greater harmony between your physical health and your relationships and your growing career, it takes focus and concentration. And so yesterday we talked about focus and what it is. And we talked about 3 principles around focus and 3 beliefs. Number 1, it's not something that you have, but it's something that you do. And that's important, remembering that, because it's not a noun, it's something that's a verb, which has turned into a process. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you each day over the course of these 30 days, is now we could create a recipe. We could create for you a quick focus formula, if you will. The second principle is that there's no such thing as good or bad focus. So a lot of people complain about their focus. Maybe they have entrepreneurial ADD and their mind goes to shiny objects. I don't believe that there's anything such as a good or bad focus. I believe that there's just a trained focus and untrained focus. And the third principle I do believe is that focus is like a muscle, that the more you use it, the better you get at it. And some people just haven't exercised their focus. And so what I want to help you to do over these 30 days is really to start training it like a muscle, because it's use it or lose it. And when we train, when we start to focus on other things and we multitask, we're actually diluting and weakening our focus muscles. Okay, so in the last session, I also asked you to get a dedicated focus journal. Did you do it? I need you to have a focused journal, if you will, and that's all you put in there is the notes from our sessions together. And I also introduced to you a success formula I call GPA. GPA, what does it stand for? The G stands for your goal, the P stands for your purpose, and the A stands for action, the steps that's going to get you there. And I believe that's really a solid success formula that really helps you to focus on the thing that you want most. And so I asked you specifically in your homework was to really start meditating and reflecting on your goals specifically for this program. What's your big focus goal? Your BFG. What's your big focus goal? What would you like to have, to be, to share, to be able to do at the end of this program? And so I want you to write that down in your focus journal, and if you like, to put it on the session also as well, so you could share it with the rest of the community. So you start with your goal, that's what's in your head, and then the purpose is what's in your heart, right? The book that I recommended, and I will recommend a lot of different tools and resources throughout this program, was a book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. Right? You want to begin with your why, your purpose, because that's going to give you the fuel to be able to act on it. And that's the third step, is the actions. And that's really what we're doing here. But I want you to tune in to what your goal is. So how are we going to celebrate at the end of the 30 days? So we build out your dream of what you'd like to be able to accomplish. Now, when you think about the most popular tool, when we talk about tools and resources, when it comes to your focus, probably the number one tool to help people to focus and get things done is a to-do list, right? I don't have to explain that. They need no introductions because they're everywhere. We've been using to-do lists and checklists forever. And here's the thing, and I'm all for having a to-do list, but the goal is not just to be busy, right? You could be revisiting your to-do list every single day and you could have hundreds of things in there and just keep yourself occupied, but that's never the goal, right? And it's not just about working hard. You know, that's really, when I think about some of the elements, some people just think it's all about hustling and working hard, but you also need really good strategy. So you want to be diligent, but you also want to be, the second element I would say besides diligence is you want to be wise. Right? You want to be able to make good decisions. So you don't just want to work hard, you want to work smart, right? And the other thing I would say is to help you really focus and get things done, not only being diligent, working hard, and then also working smart. And it's also, the third thing I would say is you want to be organized, right? Having that third leg there, when you're organized, you're better focused. You have clarity of thought, you have clarity of mind, you have peace of mind, if you will. So the challenge is if your working day has become one long battle going through and fighting through your to-do list, that's not what the focus should be, because the multiple distractions of modern day workplace. I mean, you think about digital overload, and you think about all the office politics, you think about the constant interruptions and the firefighting. I mean, just to name a few, can make it near impossible to achieve your goals or even get anything done at all on your list. But what if we're going about this the wrong way? Perhaps we should be also thinking about not just what we should be doing, but what we shouldn't be doing. So my message for you today is this. I want to introduce you to another tool. And I want you to start, instead of just having a to-do list, I want you to start a not to-do list. You heard me right, a not to-do list. I find that the most highly productive, effective people, the elite mental performers that I get to work with, I get to learn from also as well, they're very clear on the things that they just won't do. And that's really smart, because when you think about sticking to your strengths and working your strengths and surrounding yourself with people that could compensate for the areas of weakness that we have, that might be, for example, like I'm pretty good at math. I have a strong math background. But when I'm doing it, I feel depleted afterwards. And so I don't feel like that's my strength, because afterwards I feel like I don't have as much energy. So there are certain activities that really juice you. And so focus really can only happen when we say yes to one thing and say no to everything else. All the other options we just remove. So in other words, deletion, elimination is a very important prerequisite for having better focus, meaning what you decide not to do also determines what you can do. And the book that I would recommend in this session is a book called Good to Great. And many of you have read it. I've recommended it in the past. Good to Great by Jim Collins. Basically, the message here is this. You say no to the things that are good so you can say yes to the things that could be great. And really, this is about filtering, right? We talk about Pareto's principle, right? The 80-20 rule, that 20% of your efforts give you 80% of the rewards. That's working smart, focusing on the 20% of your effort and the work that gives you 80% of all the benefits. So what I would recommend is doing this, just 3 simple steps to creating your not to-do list. Number 1 is go find a quiet place where you could think, where you could brainstorm, where you could focus, because you need that white space. I'm going to talk about that in a future session. So you have your white space. Number 2, I would say going through your focus journal, I want you to take notes. Specifically, I want you to look at your calendar and your current to-do list, the things that you're spending time on, the activities that have preoccupied you. And the third step is I want you to start filtering those lists and the things that are on your calendars and things that are coming up in your schedules, and ask yourself, what items here are questionable? What items on here really aren't yielding the rewards that where you're really indulging in being busy, but at the end of the day, you feel like you're not really accomplishing anything that's meaningful to you? And so what items here could be put on your not to-do list? So for example, on my not to-do list, I have a very large not to-do list. And so I could just talk about some of the areas of my life. The number 1 thing that's on my list is I don't check my phone the first hour of the day. And you're like, Jim, I really didn't need to hear that. But you really do. I find that the highest achievers, they don't touch their phone the first hour of the day because they're very susceptible. We all are. When we wake up first thing in the morning, we're in this relaxed state of awareness. And we start rewiring our brain. Every time we pick up the phone, we train it to be reactive, thinking about answering texts and firefighting and emails and voice messages. We're basically following everyone else's agenda, and that's not a great idea if you want to be proactive and be a leader. The other thing that we're rewiring our brain for is when we pick up our phone is we're wiring it to be distracted. Every time you get a like and a share and a comment, you get these dopamine fixes, and it's frying your nervous system, if you will, and you're getting super stimulated on things that really don't matter for the most part. So I don't check my phone the first hour of the day. I would highly recommend you to add this to your list. Other things that are on my list, just going around it, it's things like don't eat sugar. That's something that doesn't really agree with me. I don't check email more than twice a day. So I check it first thing in, like around 10 o'clock in the morning when I get to work, and then I do something around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I don't check it more than twice. Another thing on my not to-do list is I don't attend meetings that don't have, without a clear outcome or agenda, because I feel like so many people waste so much time. And maybe you can relate to this, where you're sitting in meetings, you're like, what's the point of this meeting? And so I would always have a clear outcome or agenda. So those are some of the things. So what I want you to do is this. You know that the focus, of having focus, is the key to productivity, because saying no to every other option unlocks your ability to really accomplish the 1 or 2 or 3 things that are left. So what I'm going to ask you to do for your homework assignment is this, is to create, maybe for the first time, your not to-do list. Create a not to-do list. You could have it right there in your focus journal. And what I want you to do is start building it out. And again, going to a quiet place where you can brainstorm and focus, look at your to-dos, look at your calendar, meditate on the things that you spend the most time on, and ask yourself, is this really the best use of my time? And start writing down the items on your not to-do list that are maybe questionable. And that's going to be the line in the sand for you. As we build this out, again, it's important. What you're not going to do is as important as what you are going to do. So enjoy that. Put your comments down in this episode and this training, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye now.